Well, this is really great. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming out tonight. The U.S. Wrestling Foundation was set up a couple of years ago to help grow the sport of wrestling at the grade school and high school and collegiate levels, and also to support the Olympics. Fellow board member Hans Morris over here and I were at the World Championships in Las Vegas in September, where 4 Americans won gold medals, and it was just awesome. I mean, it really was awesome. So we thought it would be great if we could get some of the champions to come here to New York and meet some other wrestling advocates. And we're thrilled that all 4 of them made the effort to come tonight. And I want to thank the athletes for making that effort. So to kick this off, I'm delighted to introduce one of the legends of the sport, a 4-time Olympian, currently athletic director at the wrestling powerhouse, Edinburgh University. Bruce Baumgartner really needs no formal introduction, but I will highlight some of his remarkable achievements. He is the winner of 4 Olympic medals, 2 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze. And that 1 bronze probably should have been a gold, right?
They all should have been gold.
He has won 9 medals in the World Championships, including 3 golds. He's an NCAA champion. He has 3 gold medals from the Pan American Games. In 1995, he was presented the James E. Sullivan Award by the AAU as the Outstanding Amateur Athlete in the United States. In 2008, he was inducted into the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame. I'm thrilled to present Bruce Baumgartner.
Thank you, Paul. Legend means that I'm getting old and can't see anymore. It's a real pleasure to be here. This all started when Paul and Hans and I were traveling back and forth in the shuttle looking at the World Championships in Las Vegas. And, whenever you have wrestling people, and we have a lot of great wrestling people, getting together to support our great sport, it's really hard to not be excited about USA Wrestling, the United States Wrestling Foundation, and their volunteers and boards for really coming together and providing opportunities, way back, it's 20 years ago almost now since I've quit competing in my day, and now today to provide for our World and Olympic team members so they can go on and win medals. And, I want to congratulate and that we're here celebrating wrestling, obviously, and Kyle and Jordan and Helen and Adeline, and winning a World Championships is an awesome feat. And, I want to congratulate them. I don't think the average person realizes, how much work, time, and effort it takes to win a world or an Olympic medal. Nevertheless, to be a champion, it is a total commitment. And I think that's what we're here for, is to provide our Olympians, our world team members, the best resources to go on and win those medals. And, you look at, people say, well, how do you become a champion, or what's it like to go on that path? And you don't wake up one, Saturday afternoon and say, oh, the Olympic trials are next weekend. I think I'll go to Iowa City in April and, win an Olympic berth and then go on to be an Olympic champion. It's years of hard work, effort, dedication. And I break down success into 4 things. I have Bruce Baumgartner's 4 keys to success when I talk to people. And I think whether it's when I'm talking to little kids, high school kids, or even today's athletes, you have the 4 things. You need to set your goal and figure out what you want to do in life. And I think, obviously our world team members, Olympic team members, their goal is to win that gold medal. whether it is, and we joked about, I didn't set out to win a bronze. I was happy to, by the way, better than nothing, but I didn't set out to win a bronze and a silver. My goal was to win the Olympics, all 4 times. Once you set your goals, I think, and this is where, right here, this organization and you folks can help, is the athletes need to surround themselves with the best possible people and to make them successful. And what is it? It's coaches. It's getting the best coaches. It's getting the best workout partners, nutritionalists, strength training experts, the medical, psychological aspect of training. It's not cheap. I know when I was training, I had a kid come in and live with me. He was the 5th ranked guy in the world going into the 1992 Olympics, which was my best Olympics ever. 91 was, if you look at all my championships, I didn't win the world or didn't get a medal in 91. I did really poorly. I changed up a lot of things. I surrounded myself with better people, good workout partners, good coaches, a strength training expert. I went out to Iowa to train. I went some other places to train. And I was, if you looked at that was my best Olympics ever. I was dominant. 30-some points on my opponent, beat the returning Olympic champion that beat me in 88 by 3 points. 1 move, by the way, but it's still 3 points. Last 7 seconds, but in the rule, and if you look at it in the history books, I beat him by 3 points. 1 move. Beat the returning world champion, the guy who won the world championships the year before. I think I beat him by 10. In the finals, I think I beat the guy who was 3rd in the world the year before by 10, Jeff Toohey. It's interesting, both of my Olympic championships were won off of Canadians that both trained with me at Edinburgh for a while. I wonder why. But in that Olympics, I wrestled like the returning world champion, returning Olympic champion in my bracket. Because if you remember in the Olympics, and even when you watch in 2016, it's a blind draw. You could have the finalists from the year before, first round. It's a blind draw, so you really don't know who you're going to get. But this is where this group can come in, is to help provide our athletes with the best training opportunities, the best coaches, the best, and that takes resources. That takes financial resources. And then I think the third key to success, after you set your goals and you surround yourself with all those good people, the athletes will take care of their minds and bodies. They do the proper nutrition, the proper working out, doing all those things necessary, the rest, the sleep, the preparation, the mental focus drills that they'll do. And then ultimately, to me, I think the most important thing for my success is just refusing to fail. Just being hard work, overcoming the obstacles, being persistent. You're going to get injured. You're going to have bad days. You always look at the world. You got to be positive. Like it's half full, not half empty. And you just go out there and grind it out. And I think when people do those 4 things, that's where the success comes. That's where the success comes. And we can help with your support to provide those opportunities for these athletes. Now, I've been asked to talk a little bit about the Rio Olympics and what we have to look forward to. And I think we have a great team. And for those of you who followed wrestling over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe watched the Olympics and the last Olympics in 2012, you're going, boy, wrestling was a little different in 2012. They had this ball pull thing, and there were some things where, 96% of the time, if you won the ball pull, and there was 3 periods, and nobody could understand what was going on. Well, the U.S. Olympic or the International Olympic Committee threatened to throw wrestling out of the Olympics, and that might have been one of the better things that's ever happened to wrestling. If you watch wrestling today, you watch what's on the videos, you go to the World Championships, it's an awesome sport to watch. And I would encourage you to get your tickets to go down to Rio or watch it on TV. It's changed immensely. The rules are so much better. There's more scoring, there's more action, and I think in more times than not, the better person wins, not the luck of the draw. But in Rio, there'll be 18 gold medals awarded, 6 in men's freestyle, 6 in women's wrestling, which is basically women's freestyle, 6 in Greco-Roman. There are approximately 340 competitors, anywhere from in the neighborhood of 75 or more countries will be represented. Right now, the U.S. has, out of the 18 possible slots. We have 5 of them qualified. Our team, how do you qualify? You have to place in the World Championships, or you have to place in the Pan Am Championships, which are coming up, and then there's 2 different tournaments in Europe that they can qualify. So, I think our outlook is awesome. We have a lot of great athletes. I think we did really well as a team in the 2015 Worlds in Las Vegas. We had 7 medals, 4 golds and 3 bronze out in September. And I trust that our athletes will just do a phenomenal job representing the United States of America and bringing home the medals. And there's nothing like the feeling of winning a medal, being on that award stand with our flag overhead. It's an awesome, awesome feeling representing our great country, winning the gold medal. A lot of people ask me, what's it like? And it really comes down, it's just a whole plethora of feelings. It's, obviously, knowing that you're the best in the world at something on that particular day. And I'm sure that there's probably some Mets fans here remorsing about the World Series. In reality, put it in reality, World Series is 2 countries, a couple Canadians and a bunch of Americans. When you think about what the 2 young men and young women did in this room, countries from all over the world, they're the best in the world. We get it just bothers me a little bit when you say the World Series, the world champions. They're not. They're the best in the U.S. and it might be the best in the world, but these 4 athletes here are the best in the world right now. Knowing you're the best is awful good. Just the pride of country, pride of representing the United States of America, our great country representing you in here, is just an awesome feeling. And then there's just that feeling of accomplishment. You've got that inner self going, man, I did it. It's pretty cool. I did it. And I'll be honest with you, there's a little bit of a feeling of relief. After you work for 4 years for something, for that Olympic gold medal, and your next time is 4 years away, you're relieved if you can do it. And trust me, if you don't do it, no matter if it's silver or bronze, you're happy you medaled. It's better than not getting a medal, but you're bummed because you set that goal to win. And then there's always that feeling of, yes, I'm on the stand, but it was the great coaches I had, it was the training partners, it was all those people I talked about in helping you out. And the pride is just unbelievable. I wish everybody could have the feeling of being on that pedestal, on the podium, winning that medal with your national anthem. When I did it, it was a real flag over my head, not a digital flag. I did have a little bit of an issue with that. And, Rich, you guys ran it. It was a perfect, except for a real flag. A real flag. But it's an awesome experience. And I want to share just real quick, and I know we're not necessarily here to talk to Bruce Baumgartner. There's our medals winners or champions we want to hear from. But when I was able to carry the flag in opening ceremonies in Atlanta, and I don't know if folks in here watched that, it was by far the biggest honor I have ever received in my sporting career. To be representing the United States of America in that day was just surreal for me. It was just unbelievable. First of all, the Olympic team itself votes the captain. So each sport votes for somebody to carry the flag, and I was the one that won the vote to carry the flag in Atlanta. And then that morning, you wake up, you're on the Today Show, all the great things and the publicity. You go out, and I met the President Clinton and his family. We toured the whole Olympic Village with them, and it was just, whenever you get a chance, Republican, Democrat, I don't care, you meet the president, it's a cool thing. And we sat and talked, and just a great day. And then we wait because the U.S. contingency, the home team, goes in last. And we were waiting in that, and everybody was nervous. And when I came over the ramp in opening ceremonies, everybody asks what, and you're gonna, what were you thinking? And the only thing I could think of, I was nervous as I've ever been, 2 billion people, 100,000. When you walk over, and I remember George Steinbrenner was walking with us because he was on the board of the Olympic Committee board at the time, and he was trying to say something, but you couldn't hear anybody. It was so loud. And all I could think of saying is, don't drop. Don't trip, don't drop. And then in the back of my head, and at that time I had a little child, he was 6 years old, and, you know, he'd run through the house. And what does a kid say when he's run through the house and he trips? I meant to do that. And in my head, I said, I can't say if I trip, I meant to do that. When I set the flag and gave it to the person who helped me put it in the stance, it was, you talk about a feeling of pride, it was just awesome, but the relief is phenomenal. I just didn't want to trip, and for some stupid reason, I did it with one hand. Now, if you look, I did change hands, but I don't know why. It was pretty light. Everybody says, well, was it heavy? No, it was a light flag. It was an aluminum pole. It wasn't as tough of a deal as it looked. But, you know, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. I really want to thank USA Wrestling. You know, without two things, you know, obviously my family at Edinburgh University helped support me the whole time, but USA Wrestling was always there for the athletes and for, you know, people like myself. I did compete like Adeline for the New York Athletic Club. They were always there for me, being a kid that grew up in New Jersey. And you know, I try to give back, you know, as an athletic director at a Division II school. You know, financially is not my method of giving back, but I try to give back to people like this and sit in the board of USA Wrestling and the foundation. You know, I really just encourage people to give back to our great sport. I know these men and women, our men and women in our team, Team USA, they'll fight their hearts out to represent our country well and use the resources they have to the best. And I want to thank those folks, and again, you know, you folks for being here, supporting wrestling and taking your interest. Thank you very much, and enjoy the evening.
So next, we'd like to hear from Rich Bender, who is the Executive Vice President of USA Wrestling.
Thanks, Paul. So I don't think we need a microphone, do we? So I guess I just found out I need to say a few words, but thanks to Hans, I'll do my best. But so Jim Jordan, the congressman and wrestler, during his Hall of Fame induction speech, said he was asked, "What makes America great?" And he said, "You know, in my mind, there's no doubt what makes America great. It's the commitment by moms and dads to make the lives of their kids better than the lives they had." And I think that's really applicable to wrestling. And what I mean by that is, you think about the generations of wrestlers that have always worked hard, and Bruce mentioned give back, to make the next generation's experience in the sport better. And that really manifests itself in the program I'm going to introduce right now, and that's our Living the Dream Fund. The Living the Dream Fund is a program that was put together to provide a pretty exceptional bonus for athletes when they win world gold medals and Olympic gold medals. Jordan, I think, where's Jordan? Jordan was the recipient in London of a $250,000 check from the Living the Dream Fund for his reward for that. Tonight we're going to provide a $50,000 bonus for 4 athletes that won gold in Las Vegas. And that's only possible as a result of the selfless commitment by that generation of wrestlers and families that came before these guys and girls. And we have 2 of those stewards that are donors for that program here tonight. Kira Berry, is Kira? Come on up, Kira. So Kira also is a wrestler's mom, and her husband Dave was a team leader for our team in Beijing. And
no, in London.
I'm sorry, in London. But Kira will be the team leader for our women's team, and she'll lead our women into to Rio this next summer. So Kira, on behalf of USA Wrestling and our athletes, thank you for your commitment to the Living the Dream Fund. And we have one other steward here, Stan Desick. Stan, come on up. Stan, so on behalf of athletes and the organization, your commitment. Stan also serves as the Vice President of the International Wrestling Federation. So I don't get a chance to say this very often, but I will promise you, if there's one person on the planet that is the most responsible for our sport saving itself on Olympic program, it's this man right here.
All right.
So, all right, jeez.
From us. Thanks.
So I guess now we'd like the athletes to come up, is that right?
Yeah.
So thank you again for your support of the sport and all that you do to help us achieve our goals. And our goals are manifested right here in these gold medals. So.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Jeff Waters.
Hi, I'm Jeff Waters. I'm the board chairman of the U.S. Wrestling Foundation. And before I say anything else, I just want to make the observation. I noticed when Bruce was up here and Jordan is here, you know, they both wrestled in high school in New Jersey. So let's do the math here. Bruce won 13 world medals, but I think he won 5 world and Olympic golds, right? Jordan has now won 4 world and Olympic golds. New Jersey State Wrestling Championship. Bruce Baumgartner, 0. New Jersey State Wrestling Championships. And Jordan Burroughs, 1 New Jersey State Wrestling Championship. So here's the question. What's a tougher tournament? Just saying. Okay. We are going to present these checks, and then we'll do them one at a time, and we'll ask each athlete a couple questions, and just to get a good feel, of their experiences, and I think the theme here is, the support that they get, right? I mean, that's critical common denominator. But let's just go left to right, and Jack, we have
I'll carry it.
Adeline Gray.
Coming up.
Why don't you stop out here? And the stewards, can you come out there and stand? Yeah, we're going to take a picture with Jack. Adeline Gray, $50,000. Adeline, let me just ask a couple of questions. So, you've talked a lot, I've heard you at least talk a lot about, what wrestling and being a professional athlete has meant to you, the ability to travel, all the things you've seen, experiences you've had. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
So I've never been out of the country. My father's a different police officer, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I had never been out of really Colorado before USA Wrestling got a hold of me and allowed me the opportunity to train and try out for world and Olympic teams. And so I've now been to 6 world championships. I have 5 medals, and I've been to over 20 countries. I'm 24 years old, and I am fully funded by USA Wrestling. I couldn't be living this amazing life without that support that we have. And so it's just unbelievable that I'm living the life I am. I'm a professional athlete right now, and I'm a female, and it's a pretty amazing life. And I just want to thank USA Wrestling and thank programs like this, because it really does make it possible to live this dream. So thank you guys, and I'm hoping you guys are looking at the first Olympic gold medalist for women's wrestling in the United States.
Adeline Gray, 3-time world champion already. Kyle Snyder, step up.
Yeah.
19 years old, $50,000.
Should be more.
Great.
Nice work. Thank you, guys.
Kyle, 19 years old. What's the deal?
How did it happen?
Yeah, how did that happen?
Well, I mean, growing up, I was always a pretty big kid, so I would be wrestling up in age groups, and my dad would always tell me, just try your best and see what happens. So what I mean by that is there's age weight tournaments and then there's straight weight tournaments, and my dad would always put me in the straight weight because he wanted me to wrestle the older kids. And then when I got to high school, I was wrestled 215 when I was a freshman, so I was wrestling seniors and stuff like that. And then transitioning over to internationally, I was blessed with the opportunity to train at the Olympic Training Center my senior year, and I was able to wrestle with some of the greatest Americans, and then I got to travel overseas and wrestle with some foreign competition too, and I learned a lot through through my travel, and basically just believing in myself and knowing that I'm surrounding myself with the best people that I possibly can, and if I put the work in, then the results should be good.
Let's talk about the Russian.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to NCAA championships probably 30 times in my life, and there were certain matches we still refer to as a man versus a boy. You know, and then in those matches, the man wins, you know. In this case, it was a man versus the boy, and the boy won. But what was your mindset going into that stuff? You had wrestled him in Times Square, right?
Wrestled Gatsalov.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
so
it's
I've never
wrong.
wrestled Gadisov before, but I remember watching film of Gadisov when I was in like 8th and 9th grade, just because I was like, this man hits sweet moves and makes people look stupid while they're wrestling, so I want to watch what he does. And the mindset beforehand was after I won the semifinals match, I went up into my hotel room. It was just me and my little brother, and we were joking around, and wasn't too nervous or anything like that. I was just really excited to be able to wrestle one of the greatest technicians and wrestlers that has been alive. You know, he's been a world champion previously, so I was just excited to go out there and compete and see if my stuff worked on him. And I didn't think he was too much of a man for me. I felt like I was pretty strong too.
Yeah. Kyle Snyder, our youngest ever world champion. Your name is Jordan Burroughs. Does that get old, Jordan? So a question for you. You've had a lot of changes in your life over the last year and a half. Getting married, having a child, and also the other first you had was not winning world championships. So what's that period been like? A lot of tumult. What was your psychology coming through that period and thinking about coming into the Worlds this year?
It was definitely a tough transition for me. I think it was very difficult when you set out to accomplish something and you don't actually get the opportunity to bring it to fruition. It's very difficult. And so unfortunately, sometimes your best isn't enough. And so wrestling's a really humbling sport because I put the same amount of training in last year as I did this year, except I didn't get one of these. And so that was tough. That was very tough. I worked hard. I made sacrifices. I spent time away from my family. But unfortunately, I wasn't on the tallest podium at the end of the year. So that's a difficult position to be in. But fortunately enough, I had a good supporting cast around me, great coaches, a great wife, great family. And so I was able to get back on top this year. So I'm very fortunate.
How's fatherhood?
Hard. Very hard. And so, yeah, we haven't announced it yet, but my wife is expecting baby number 2.
I think we just announced it.
Yeah, so it's we plan babies around Olympics. So seriously, and so it's fun because the due date's June 23rd, and so it's right after the World Cup and before the Olympic Games. So it fell perfectly. Yeah, so you know it's interesting. So every year that I've won a world champion, well since 2013 I won a world championship, and she became pregnant shortly after. 2015 won a world championship, she became pregnant shortly after. So it seems like every time I win a world championship, I get a baby.
Testosterone.
So it's testosterone. So yeah, no, it's great. So thank you guys for coming out tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed yourselves. I think USA Wrestling has a very bright future. You know, it's been a great opportunity for me to bring home a lot of these, but I think we have a lot of young guys who are going to have an opportunity to have these sitting in their living rooms at home very soon. Question is, how am I going to get this through the airport tomorrow?
You'll figure out a way.
But no, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I think, and she hit just a beautiful I would call it a barrel roll, so I don't know what you call it. That's a 1970s term, I think. But, you know, it's the most beautiful move anybody shot the whole night. You know, I think it really, like, opened people's eyes. But I think the thing I want to ask about you is, you know, and you've talked about this, you know, you had a big disappointment 4 years ago, not making the Olympic team when I think you probably hoped to and expected to, and other people did. You know, take us through your thought process coming out of that, and you know how it motivated you.
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20. So it's easy for me to say this now, but at the time it wasn't. But I think losing might have been, I'm not gonna say best because it was still the worst, but the best and worst thing that happened to me. It just made me stop and reevaluate who, you know, what I wanted from wrestling. You know, I know I love the sport, but I didn't get what I wanted out of it. And I think Jordan talked about that, you know, perfectly, just what it feels like. So I think if you've ever experienced a loss, it hurts. And but it was good because I think that was something that developed me, not just as a wrestler moving forward, but as a person, because I really had to stop and evaluate every area of my life and my training and, you know, my mindset. And it just really motivated me to just adopt a positive attitude and say, well, if not now, you know, figure out a way for next time. And it's changed me for the better. And I think it's great that when sport can do that for you, because at the end of the day, I won't be able to be a wrestler forever as much as I wish I could. I'm hoping my body holds out, but we'll see. But, you know, the things that you do get from wrestling, that last forever. And moments like this and just knowing that it's bigger than myself and I have support from so many people that, you know, help me to be holding this right now is just really incredible. It's life-changing.
You did an awesome job in the world.
Thank you.
Helen Maroulis. So I want to introduce our fellow board member, a former colleague of mine from Wall Street Days, who's been a tremendous help to us and is the co-host tonight, Hans Morris. And you know, the U.S. Wrestling Foundation, we're still a relatively new organization. I think USA Wrestling hopes that we will develop into a significant support system, and this is part of that effort. And hopefully we can begin a dialogue with some of you about that. But I'm going to turn it over to Hans.
Well, thank you. And I thought the athletes. And Helen said something which is exactly right, which is the sport. All of us, our character, I'd say, is highly effective. I know I am, but I think everyone I know who's a wrestler say, "Man, you and I know what we went through," and it stays with you for your whole life. And I think with this whole organization has been is a really good effort to bring many of us into the sport with some of the greatest athletes in the world, and we hope to continue to help all of you achieve those goals. And I think hopefully you and other people you may know get access to some of these events. I had the greatest time at the Worlds with Bruce and the NCAAs. The NCAAs will be in New York City this spring, and we will have some VIP tickets and a dinner and some other things around that, and we hope we can get more of you involved in the sport. So thank you all for coming. Give you a chance to talk one-to-one. Thanks again.